Welcome to another SourceFuse's Talking Out Cloud, our Friday leadership chat series. My name is Liz Grint, Marketing Manager here at SourceFuse. And for those of you that still might be unfamiliar with SourceFuse, we provide digital transformation solutions and services, transforming the way companies modernize and migrate to the cloud, using the most advanced cloud technologies and expertise. Today, we're going to focus on the subject of cloud migration, overcoming roadblocks, challenges, and what the future holds. As advanced AWS consulting partners, SourceFuse is really pleased to be joined today by Amazon's Migration Partner Lead for India and South Asia, Ankit Kumar Gupta, who has over 17 years experience in the IT industry, having worked for several leading IT organizations. Welcome, Ankit.
Thank you so much, Liz, and thanks to SourceFuse's team for having me. This is really an exciting series of discussions which I have been going through, and happy to be part of it.
Oh, well, we're really glad you could be here today. If it's okay with you, I'd like to start by asking if you could tell us a bit about your background and experience when it comes to cloud migration.
Sure. So I've been working with Amazon AWS for more than 2.5 years now. Currently leading the migrations partner ecosystem for India and SAARC region, which essentially involves working with strategic focused migration partners for India, certainly SourceFuse being one of them. So this revolves around enabling the partners, making them understand the migration programs that AWS has, and certainly then creating a joint GTM for the large migrations under the program, the AWS Migrations program that we have. Overall, I've been with IT industry for more than 17 years and more than 7 years of experience around cloud computing ecosystem. Before AWS, I worked with few leading telcos and data center providers, wherein I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to kickstart their journey with the hyperscalers.
So Ankit, when you begin working with customers looking to migrate to AWS Cloud, what would you say are the biggest drivers which make customers move or think about initiating their cloud journey?
Yeah, so there are many different drivers for a customer for them to initiate the journey. The first thing that comes to mind, and certainly which is there in everyone's mind, is cost reduction. So we do see customers save anywhere from 25 to, in fact, also going beyond 50% of savings when they move to AWS. But that certainly depends on what kind of infrastructure or the applications we have at the customer end. But there are certainly many other compelling reasons or the triggers a customer might have to move to AWS. To name a few would be a scenario of a customer looking for exiting the data center, or could also be customers looking for consolidation of data centers. There are a set of customers who are willing to now move to AWS because the hardwares or the softwares which they have been using are coming into life, the end of life. But I would say in the last 2 years, with this pandemic that we have all gone through, there is a change in the discussion which is happening, with all these customers. Board of directors are now looking a lot more, and it's not only cost reduction or the other reasons which I just mentioned about. They're wanting that their business become more agile, and they want to move a lot faster than today. They want to be quickly able to experiment in the different market segments or invent and create new customer experiences. They've been wanting to do the modernization of their operating model, the business in their culture as they move to AWS. Customers have started to realize, until unless the application have started to use the attributes, the dynamic nature or the scalability of cloud, only cost reduction will not solve the purpose or the business goals of the organizations. Customers have started talking about transformation now, and that's where we see that shift of, even in the word cost, we have been talking about that C of the cost to actually moving to now T of transformation. And these are the benefits, the business benefits which come through these transformation. We have seen that change which has been coming in customer mindset, and they are asking us that can we look at modernization rather than only talking about just moving their workloads to AWS. And what can improve that transformation is that many services, the plug and play services, the cloud nativity, or the resilient architecture of AWS, that can bring in everything what a customer is looking for in this transformation.
Thank you so much. I mean, Ankit, you'll know that when it comes to migration here at SourceFuse, we like to take a modernization-led approach as well. But I'd like to hear a bit more from you about the AWS perspective on migration and why that's a key focus for you as well.
Sure. So migrations are a top strategic priority, next only to security and operational performance of the AWS platform. Now, this is a quote which was shared by Andy Jassy, who was a couple of years back the CEO of AWS and now CEO of Amazon. He did that in one of the flagship event of ours, which is called as AWS reInvent, happens once in a year. Now, this statement, while it was made a couple of years back, still remains as is, and migrations is certainly the topmost priority for us. And you can imagine it is only next to security and the operational performance, which are key for any cloud provider platform to stay intact. Now, 2020-21 has been an eventful year for everyone, and we all agree to that. And that's where we actually made migrations as the front and center of the business, whether it was in terms of the impact we created or in terms of the names that actually the names of the customer whom we onboarded. If you talk about a couple of names which I can mention are like RBL Bank, ICICI Lombard. The impact was also in terms of the revenue, the impact of revenue which we saw in our organization and for the partners, and the sheer momentum which we got through this migration that we created in the market. We saw customers reaching out to us wherein they wanted to check with us what all we have done with other customers, because everyone was talking about how Amazon or how AWS has done this migration into their platform. So as I said, while it is a front and center, the focus of migration is front and center for our organization, and it is not only focused towards only the enterprise, while they certainly becomes the prime focus for us, but we have seen now customers in the segment like mid-market, SMB, also the digital native business also talking about the migration aspect. And we're seeing that change coming through in the last 2 years. What we also have been doing is we've created like multiple mechanisms, to get that mind share of the customer. These mechanisms have certainly helped us to develop a deep relationship with the customer, to understand what's going on in their mind. And this certainly has helped us to engage with them on a long-term basis. Few mechanisms or few workshops which we have done with the customer and have really created that interest in customers' mind are like IIW, we call it as In Residency Week. We have workshops like Culture of Innovation, Learning from Amazon. So all these workshops, the idea is that we understand the customer more and then start working backwards from it and make sure that we address customers' requirement whenever we get into those discussions with them.
So it's a big focus for Amazon, but you also help customers focus on what path they can take as well. So what would your advice be to anyone considering cloud migration via the AWS Migration Acceleration Program?
Yeah, so we've developed this unique migration program in the industry. And this is again based on the various migrations that we have done across the globe and certainly in India as well. This is called as Migration Acceleration Program, or commonly also the acronym which we use, MAP program, for our customers or partners, how they like to recall it. While to some it may resonate that this program is like an investment program, but I would like to focus that there are multiple other attributes that this program brings in. It's a comprehensive and proven cloud migration program. This has resulted from, again, as I said, thousands of migrations which we have done for our customers. What it does is it has packaged the best practices, the expertise what AWS brings in, and we also involve our qualified migration partners, again, certainly SourceFuse's being one of them. And there are like multiple tools that we use for a customer to take them through the journey of wherever they are currently to the AWS platform. And again, the idea is to get more benefits of AWS Cloud as they go through their journey. So we follow a unique migration methodology. It's prescribed methodology which we have used. And again, it all is basis our experience of doing these migrations for the last 6 to 7 years. We have been refining this program again as per the feedback from customers and partners. And as we speak, we will see another updated version of this program is getting launched tomorrow on 26th of April. Now, again, this is bringing many more benefits to the customers as well as partners. Again, the idea is to make sure that the customer is successful and also is able to move with the speed, the precision, and the scale which we bring in this transformational journey. We follow a three-step approach wherein we go from an assessment to a mobilize and then moving on to migrate and modernize phase. So this phase, these three phases have been really appreciated by the customers and the way the framework has been created by us.
You mentioned there about the three phases or the three steps approach that AWS follows under MAP. Could you just elaborate a bit more around that?
Sure. So this, as I said, so again, customers have really liked this approach because this gives them to understand from where to start their journey when they come to AWS, and each phase gives them more confidence as to why they should move to AWS. So, like to further dive deep into it, if you start in the assessment phase, AWS provides free assessment tools in the programs like MRA, Migration Readiness Assessment, or could be an OLA to help the customer understand the benefits that they can achieve through migration. We assess the customer's migration and identify the areas of capability that we can build, again with the help of our partners, and also determine whatever are the organization or there could be some technical gaps which they might have. We help them mitigate it and also move them to AWS. We move on to the next phase, which we call it as mobilize phase. Here we build some capabilities to migrate and operate in the cloud. This is essentially a phase wherein we make the customer prepare and enable them to move to AWS in the third phase. We look at the operational readiness of the organization. We also look at the cloud skills, and then basis that we create a strong migration plan for the customer. And here again, we come up with the detailed a compelling business case as to why a customer should think about migrating to AWS Cloud. So usually a mobilize phase would take around 2 to 4 weeks of 2 to 4 months of time. Again, it all depends on organizations' readiness levels. We would eventually, or for a mobilize phase, bring in a partner, a migration-focused partner, who would do the mobilize phase, attributes, the features, whatever required for them to start preparing or working towards AWS. Now, we use multiple accelerators when we talk about mobilize phase. These accelerators would be like, if I talk about, could be like to collect the inventory, understand the application data to assess the portfolio, and then basis that to create that decision criteria and the initial migration plan. Secondly, we do the deployment and validate the landing zone. We develop required operating and governance models for that organization for them to start thinking about AWS. In this phase, we might also look at migrating few applications for the customer to the production environment. And this again gives a huge mind share and the confidence of the customer that they start thinking about moving to AWS platform. In this phase also, as I mentioned, we would look at those cloud skill gaps. So we have a dedicated training and enablement team, the training and certification team. They will do a learning need analysis for the customer. They would understand what are the gaps which a customer might have when they create this COE within their organization. This has certainly helped us to build that confidence, the skills, and the competency which is required for the migration and for the transformation which is required for a customer in their organization. So overall, what we have seen that these accelerators have been able to generate an early alignment, also have sped up the requirement gathering which we need from the customer, and certainly helped us in expediting their migration to overall complex the engagement, the overall time frame of the engagement with the customer. And lastly, from the mobilize phase, which certainly prepares us for the third phase, which is the migrate and modernize phase, where we actually do execute that large-scale migration in the cloud operations. After completing the mobilize phase, migration can proceed rapidly and efficiently during the last phase. And that's where we have seen customers have also, wherein we have seen that 10 to 20% of their applications have also gone through a modernization. And that's what we take care of in the migrate and modernize phase.
Okay, gosh. So 3 steps, 3 phases, but very comprehensive, but very smooth, walking hand in hand with the customer to make it a seamless journey for them. So I know that the focus on migration for AWS is very encouraging for us to do more together in 2022. But my last question to you today, Ankit, is could you tell us more about what is happening in AWS on migrations?
Sure. So as I said, we have seen a huge transformation, or the way the conversation have changed with the customers in the last 2 years because of pandemic. And what we have done is we have made a couple of shifts in the way we have been talking to the customers, or the mindset what we have internally within AWS. The first one being, we are making a distinct shift away from the lift and shift. And we want even any AWS representative to talk more about modernization. It's been very critical, to get into the customers early, for them to make them understand the benefits of the modernization. And customers have started valuing that when we talk about the modernization aspect. So we now not only talk about lift and shift, but we have been talking to the customers as to how we can modernize their applications. And that's again has been taken well by the various industries, be it various verticals within the customer organizations. Also, we are seeing that because we're talking about a change within the customer organization when they are looking for not moving to AWS Cloud, and we have started seeing that more and more of CXOs are now getting involved in these critical decision makings. So I would say gone are those days when we were seeing that it's only the IT or the finance team were getting involved when we are talking about moving to cloud. We have started seeing a healthy discussion and contribution from a CEO or a CEO. And not only that, even the CMO have started discussing with us when we are talking about moving to cloud. So at least for us, what we are seeing is that it's really high time for us, and it's very important for us to up our game in terms of understanding the industry trends. What are those pain points that customers are looking for, and how AWS can help them to mitigate those pain points what the customer is looking for. Also, what we are doing is also bring in our global best practices, which we can help even in the customers who are there in India from the same vertical. So these are the two major changes, I would say, which have already been inculcated, I would say, because we're sitting in the second quarter now. The way we are now messaging to the customers, the way we are talking to our customers.
Yeah, thanks, Ankit. And it's really nice to hear that more, senior management are involved. So it's outside IT, but the whole culture of the organizations is changing so that everybody is ready for the migrations or modernizations, whatever path they take. So I want to say a huge thank you to Ankit for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Liz. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thanks as well to our audience for watching. Join us again soon when we'll be back with another Talking Out Cloud, or if you'd like to go back and watch the previous ones we've done, just look them up. Bye for now.